I'm big on financial literacy, and I feel like the community needs more financial literacy teachers and people that's not just trying to get money out of them, but people that's going to tell them the real stuff that our whole community needs to hear. And today's video is really just talking about overconsumption in the Black community and lack of knowledge when it comes to financial literacy and how that affects us as a community. So I was doing some research, got some numbers for you guys, so I'm going to talk about a few numbers that I got and wrote down for you guys. So the Black community spending power is approximately $1.7 to $2 trillion. So $1.7 trillion to $2 trillion is the amount of money that we have in spending power. And none of that money is getting distributed properly back into our community because we don't like to spend with, not that we don't like to spend, also on the flip side, there's also things in the past that have discriminated against us, and I'm not gonna act like that's not a thing, but we have to get to a point to where we not move on from those things, because those things will always be a part of us and they'll be a part of our story, and there are still things that can be made right. But what can we do as individuals on the individual level and at a team level to where we can change and shift things in our community to where we can't keep having these same conversations years later and nothing's been changed and nothing's been different. We got to take accountability and do what we can do on our levels. So, like I said, the spending power of the Black community is $1.7 to $2 trillion. The average net worth of the Black American family is $53,000. So with these, that's a huge difference. And obviously 1.7 to 2 trillion is just our spending power. That's not how much individuals have, but if compared to other races, we have one of the lower net worths, if not the lowest. And that means something's going wrong. It's either education, frivolous spending is what I'm seeing a lot of. These young people, they want to move out early. They want to get that nice car. They want to flex and they want to get expensive things. And I feel like, especially like on the youth, materialism is a thing in our community. And we kind of got to step on that and really look at things like what can we do to progress and further our wealth. Maybe that's staying at home longer. Maybe that's cutting down on my spending. Maybe that's making a plan with my family on how we can all build wealth together. There is no one answer for this big problem, but a lack of wealth is what makes kids live in bad areas, makes kids live in poverty and things like that, and we don't want to keep going down that cycle. But there's things outside of finances that we have to also deal with. But I just ever want to like really start having financial conversations with your family. It's very hard, especially when you're the young person and you're trying to explain to your parents why they should be moving a certain way with their finances because they are older. They gave birth to you, so they're not trying to listen to you, especially about a sensitive topic, which I think money shouldn't even be a sensitive topic. I just feel like people make it a sensitive topic because of certain reasons, but I feel like finance is something that should be talked about more in our community. I feel like people are like, oh, I'm not trying to get in a business, and that's what leads to people not having the knowledge that they should have about finances. Why are we not allowed to talk about credit? Why are we not allowed to talk about how much people make? I get it on a certain level, everybody shouldn't be in your business, but between family members and between kids and parents, I feel like that should be a conversation that's had. This is how we afford this lifestyle, this is how I do this is how I do that. These are the moves I made before you were born, this is how we are able to live this life. These are the moves I made when you were born, this is how you're able to go to school. Like, how is all things happening? But it's a lot of generational trauma that's been passed down, people having financial issues, so it's just a topic that people don't like to talk about. But I feel like our generation, we gotta break those traumas and we gotta be the generation that changes things financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, different avenues to where the conversations are different. Other communities, they have businesses, they have different things that they've created to where money flows in their community at more rapid rates and at longer rates. The Black dollar does not stay in our community as long because we haven't built businesses and we haven't built structures and different things for that to even be able to happen. So what we can do and what we need to do is start building our own businesses, start thinking like entrepreneurs. You don't have to own a business, but you can own real estate, you can own gold, you can own different assets to where if something was to happen to you, your family is good. You can pay off your house. You don't have to own multiple rental properties, but the house you do live in, when you die, or it's paid off so your kids don't have to sell it, or they don't have to figure out how they're gonna pay for it. Same with funeral expenses. You see people starting GoFundMe's for funerals. We need to start talking about life insurance. Your family shouldn't have to have like a fish fry, a GoFundMe to pay for your funeral. It's things like that's why these conversations should be had more. And people think, oh, you getting in a business talking about stuff like this, and it's like I might be getting in a business, but this is impacting my community. And if I can make the conversation more normalized in my community, then what can I do? I can change the future of my community. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like generational housing should be another thing that we get back on board with. I know when grandma was younger, she had 10 siblings and they all lived in that house for years, and everyone chipped in and paid the mortgage. Now, I feel like, especially in America, but especially in the black community, I don't want to say especially because a lot of my friends, I have a good amount of friends that still stay at home, but I see it a lot on social media. Like at 18, people are being forced to move out the house, and it's like, why would you not want to stay at the house as long as you can to build that stable financial foundation? If I can stay home and I make good money, I'm able to live in Hawaii, still able to stack and live a good life. But if my mom lived here, if my mom and her husband lived here, I would definitely live with them, because why would I waste money on rent when I could be living at home for free and be stacking all that money and be putting it towards saving for a house? And maybe, depending on how much I stack, I could either pay that house off in cash, or I could put a significant down payment to where what I would be paying and possibly be paying in rent, I'm now paying it towards a mortgage, and it's way lower because of the down payment that I put on it. And these are just thought process that you gotta like really have. And I think it comes from a lack of knowledge, but it also comes from, due to the lack of knowledge, people just kind of blindly following or blindly doing what they think is the right thing to do. And we kind of got to move away from that and start really studying how the financial system works, how taxes work, how businesses work, how saving, budgeting, credit, all those things work together so you can live a life of financial freedom and live a life to where you can really live and not just living paycheck to paycheck. I'm just flowing right now. This video don't really have a overall end goal. It's just to wake you up to realize what life could be like if you really learn financial literacy, and not just you, but the people around you, how it could change our community as a whole. So I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope you can add to the conversation in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.